Good morning. This is video number 10 of my set of 31 videos that I'm using to try to share with people the idea of using a glucose meter as a fuel gauge. And this can be done with any diet at all. In the description box of this video, one of the links I will have is a link to a food list created by Marty Kendall of optimizingnutrition.com. And the food list has links to all these different diets that you can, they're people's pet diets, but they can all be applied with data-driven fasting using a glucose meter, the data of your glucose meter, to manage your weight and your wellness. One reason I'm doing this set of videos is because I'm currently in a 30-day challenge with the data-driven fasting community. I'll put a chart up that shows where we are and some of the data that we collect on ourselves during the 30 days. And today is day 10 of that 30 days. I was reading in the community, the Data-Driven Fasting community location, which is off Facebook. There will be a link to that community in this video's description box. It's free to join, and there's all kinds of free learning on there. So you do not have to be part of a $37 paid challenge to learn from this. As I was reading, I came across one of Marty's articles, and I pulled this information from it because it's very helpful for today, right here and now. For those of us who are waiting for to eat before we reach our personalized glucose trigger. Once you use up the surplus energy, which is your elevated glucose in your bloodstream, your body will start feeding on the fat stored in your vital organs, the visceral fat. And that will be the first priority after you use up your excess circulating glucose. When your glucose gets low enough and you're at your trigger, your body starts looking for more fuel. It doesn't want to drop too low. Our bodies try to keep a very narrow range of blood glucose of about a teaspoon of glucose. And another thing I saved, to lose body fat, you need to manage your blood sugar level before you eat. In data-driven fasting, you'll learn how to use a glucose meter as a fuel gauge to lose fat without pushing your body too hard. Data-driven fasting uses your personalized blood sugar trigger. When you feel hungry and think about eating, you simply test your blood sugar with a glucose meter to validate your hunger, to see if you need to refuel. If your blood sugar is above your trigger, you can wait a little longer until your blood sugar has dropped below your trigger. Waiting until your blood sugar drops below your personalized blood sugar trigger ensures your fasting routine is achieving a negative energy balance. You will gain all the benefits of fasting: the increased insulin sensitivity, improved blood sugar levels, weight loss, fat loss, and autophagy. And over the long term, this happens without you waking up your Marty calls it your inner lizard brain that drives you to eat. And when that happens, you are kind of triggered towards a binge restrict cycle. So I took my morning waking glucose, which is not one of the data points required to do. It's just what I like to have. During this phase of hunger training, as you can see on the chart, I'll flash that up again. We're on day 10 and that's during the phase called hunger training. And the only thing that is required to do, or heavily suggested to do, is to take your pre-meal glucose number. But I take my waking fasting glucose every morning. I just have for the last 4+ years. Anyway, I took that number And my waking glucose this morning was 77. Beautiful. And I decided that that's also going to be my pre-meal glucose that I'll enter into the DataDriven Fasting app. My hunger trigger is at 80. I'm putting up a screenshot of my dashboard for the DataDriven Fasting app that's showing right now to me after I've entered those numbers. My waking number, my pre-meal number, it shows my personal hunger trigger number on there is 80. So I'm 2 points below my personal hunger trigger. And there's a daily lesson that I could read on here, but I'm really hungry. So I'm going to save that reading of the daily lesson. But the headline on it is plan what you will eat before you are hungry. Because right now, being as hungry as I am, if I didn't have a plan, I could just plow into anything. So, but I have a plan. Yesterday on my video, I showed that I wanted the mango chunks, and I am feeling the need for the carbohydrate energy of the mangoes. So I'm going to rely on some low-fat yogurt, and I'm going to have the mango chunks with that. So I'll have protein, which I will mix in some collagen into my cottage cheese, and that will up the protein on that. I mentioned yesterday that I should have had a green drink to increase my nutrition that I'm taking in. So I'm going to go pull some frozen greens from the freezer and blend up just an easy greens drink. I'll put information in the description box about earth milk. I make a kind of a down and dirty, get it done earth milk. And I'll have that this morning, and I'll have the cottage cheese with the collagen in it, and I'm going to have the mango chunks. So I'm really hungry. I'm cutting off right now the video. I'll come back later, and I'm going to eat. I am doing this little clip on the video because I'm using it to give myself some accountability and to strengthen myself. I'm about to go in to play mahjong with a group of women that I meet with weekly and enjoy many rounds of mahjong and eating. We all bring food and we have this potluck meal together, and I usually eat everything available and a lot of it. So today I would prefer not to do that, since I'm doing this 30-day challenge, and I would like my blood sugar to stay in these healthy ranges that I've gotten, like getting a 77 as a waking fasting glucose this morning, and having a pre-meal number that is, well, I used this morning's waking fasting glucose as my pre-meal number, so 78 for that too. But if I blow it today, I know that I am going to have about 3 days of recovery for my blood glucose to straighten out. So I'm doing this little video clip and hoping that when mahjong is over and I'm back in the car, I can say, I did it. I stuck to the food that I knew was going to give me better glucose outcome. So I'm going in to play mahjong now, and I hope to come out feeling like I didn't blow it with the food. Success! Success! I had a great mahjong gathering. I won one of the rounds, and I did not lose the battle with the food, with the buffet plate, all the offerings. So I made healthy choices. I'll put my meal up here on the screen so you can see. I had all whole foods, basically. The salad was very lightly dressed, and I then had seconds on the eggs. They were my stuffed eggs, and the blueberries and pineapple, and that was the other dish that I brought. So I'm leaving feeling healthy and well, not overstuffed with junk. I passed on the dessert offerings, which is a huge success for me. And now I'm going home to spend the evening with my husband. And I will do a wrap-up video in his study in a little bit. I thought I was going to record the ending of this video in my husband's office, but I'm a little nervous about the storm that's going on, and I don't feel like being in a separate room from him. So I'm embarrassing myself and doing the video with him over off to the side, but he has his headphones on, so hopefully he can't hear me. I've had a good day food-wise. I feel like I have nourished myself with good foods, eating that green strength that I mixed up before I went off to play mahjong. I didn't get in the cottage cheese and mangoes with the protein mixture, so I guess I'll do that tomorrow. Instead, I didn't plan my time well, and so I rushed to make a greens drink using things from the freezer. I use asparagus ends, and those were good for fiber. I used parsley, some frozen parsley that I put in there. I used 4 kinds of mushroom powder. I used beet powder. That's great for improving my nitric oxide accessibility. I'll see if I can fit some information in the description box about that. I put in collagen and whey powder so I could increase the protein. And what else? I used salt, and I used butterfly pea flour powder. It's a very dark blue powder. I'll put information in the description box about that. I can't say that the drink tasted good. It didn't. It tasted like sweet grass, and the sweet part was because I put stevia in it. But the nutrition and the fiber were really good for me, so I just dealt with it. And the food at mahjong, it was a combination of carbs and fats, but it was good, wholesome food. Nothing was artificial, nothing was heavily processed, so I'm feeling good about that. And I did just take my glucose, and I'm at a 96. It's the end of the day. Let's see, it's 7:15, so I'll be going to bed with a glucose under 100, which is a goal that I like to meet if I can. When I came home, my husband asked me if I would be willing to make some popcorn, and so I did, and I served it to him, but I didn't have it. It would have been enjoyable to eat it, but I wasn't hankering for it, and I have the goal of wanting to wake up with a really good morning fasting glucose tomorrow morning. This morning I had the 77. Maybe I can do the same tomorrow morning. If I had to say if I got enough protein in today, I'd probably say I was a little bit shy on that. During mahjong, I had 4 eggs in 2 separate plates. You know, egg halves, there were 4 of them, but that meant 4 eggs between the 2 plates that I put up on the screen. And the salad had some big chunks of chicken breast. So maybe I did get enough protein because I put in protein in the green shake that I made and collagen. So we'll see. When we don't get enough protein, we tend to have more food thoughts, and we'll go looking for more food until we get enough protein. And in the process, we may take in more fuel than we need, more calories than we need. I'll put a link to Marty's article about that topic in the description box. Also, I'm going to put up an image here that shows glucose rises for each of the aspects of the food we eat, which would be fat, carbs, and protein. So each macro has its own behavior. Carbs are going to cause the glucose to rise faster and higher. Fats are going to have the least effect on a high rise, but it will keep your glucose from coming down as quickly. So depending on, if you mix it with carbs, then glucose could stay high for a lot longer, and that's not ideal. Even if you have your glucose go up, you want it to come back down to baseline pretty quickly, within, a couple of hours. And then protein can actually make your glucose go even lower than when you started, as long as it's not mixed up with a bunch of fuels like fats and carbs. So I'll see if I can put up an image about that topic as well. But we are under a tornado watch. We've had the sirens go off. It's storming outside, and our lights have flickered. So I'm going to call it quits while I still have power and while I still have light to record with, and wrap up this video. So this concludes video number 10 of my set of 31 videos, and it is for day 9 of data-driven fasting. And there's an alert, a weather alert from the local college. Anyway, it's time to say goodnight. Thank you for watching.